All right, joining me now, and I'm delighted he's with us, 2024 Republican presidential candidate, Governor Ron DeSantis from the great state of Florida. Governor, I can't see your shoes, but are you wearing sneakers like our current president? How's your balance today? Governor, how you doing there?
No, we're balanced just fine, and part of the reason is in Florida, we're defying the national mood. We're #1 in economy, education. Our crime rate's at a 50-year low because we're basically doing the opposite of what Joe Biden is doing. We've rejected Bidenomics, and we support our men and women in law enforcement, and we've done more as a coastal state to help secure our border than Joe Biden has done as the president of the United States. We've sent people to help in Texas. We've interdicted illegals in the sea coming into Florida, and we've even helped transport illegal aliens to places like Martha's Vineyard. So we're getting the job done. We're delivering results.
Now, Governor, the latest CBS poll out of New Hampshire shows that you're in second, albeit a distant second behind Trump. You're at 13%. He's at 50%. Similar numbers. You have more like 21%, I think, in Iowa. How do you go from #2 to #1, given Trump's huge lead in the polls?
Well, Laura, this is our time for choosing. We're not going to get a mulligan on the 2024 election. We've had 3 straight election cycles in a row where Democrats have a playbook to beat Republicans. And if we repeat that same playbook in 24, we're going to lose. We were supposed to have a big red wave in 2022. I thought your monologue was excellent outlining the problems, but all those problems were there in November of 2022. Republicans should have capitalized on that by winning a huge red wave, and that did not happen. Voters chose Democrats over some of our candidates, except in Florida. In Florida, we delivered a historic re-election victory, and that's because we delivered on our promises. So as you look forward, the time for talking is over. I look at the border situation. I look at the budget situation. These are issues that Republicans have been talking about for decades, and yet they still persist. I'm the only guy running that can say everything I promised my voters I would do, I delivered on 100% of the promises. So, yes, I will beat Biden. But even more importantly than that, I'm the guy that will actually deliver 100% of the results that we need to turn this country around.
But, Governor, how do you, on the economy, for instance, Trump did preside over almost a historic increase in real median household income from the beginning of his administration to right before COVID, several $1,000s for the average family. That's a real track record. I know you have a track record in Florida. Obviously, it's a phenomenal state. But why will you, or how will you deliver better economic results than the guy who did deliver great economic results the first time around?
Well, I mean, you kind of just acted like COVID doesn't matter. He made the decision to turn the country over to Anthony Fauci. Those decisions, I think, were bad. They were mistaken decisions, but that led to the borrowing and printing of trillions of dollars. They did $4.2 trillion just in 2020 before Biden even took office. Of course, Biden added gas to the fire, but that is why people's prices have gone up. It's because of what Washington did to inflate the currency and inflate the prices. But here's the thing about this, Laura. But he says that he did everything right. He said he wouldn't do anything different. In Florida, we were listening to them. And then after a few weeks, I'm like, this is not right. And we went in our own direction. Our median income is still going up, even through COVID, because we chose freedom over Fauciism. So I think our economic track record, where we've actually paid down almost 25% of our state's debt since I've been governor. We've run big budget surpluses, done big tax cuts, and have the #1 state for new business formations. That's the track record we need to bring to Washington, and I'll be able to get the job done.
Well, if you were on stage with President Trump, if he was at the debate, how would you go at him? Because, I understand what you're saying about Fauci. I mean, I was one of the biggest Fauci detractors in the spring. I think before, when you were still had the state shut down in Florida, I was hitting Fauci every day. I agree with your assessment on that. But it hasn't bridged that gap for you on the national polls or even the state polls as maybe powerful as it is. So Donald Trump standing next to you on that stage, imagine he was. how would you go at him in order to kind of, again, shrink that gap from 2 to 1?
Well, I think it's interesting, and he's not willing to stand on that stage. I think he owes it to all the voters to show up, defend his record, articulate what he would do going forward, what he might do differently, and he's not willing to do that.
Well,
and I think the voters have a right to hear from all the candidates. Well, he's not been willing to step up and do it. Well, he should step up to the plate, and then we'll do it. I mean, I think we can talk about a lot of the things. He's running in 2024 on a lot of the same promises he ran on in 2016 and didn't deliver on. He said he was going to drain the swamp. They didn't drain the swamp at all. He still defends hiring Christopher Wray. He didn't fire Wray. He didn't fire Fauci. He said Mexico was going to pay for the border wall. That didn't happen. They started the wall, but we've got a lot more to be able to do to finish the wall. He said he was going to eliminate the national debt. They added almost $8 trillion to the debt in 4 years. And then remember, he promised to appoint a special counsel for Hillary Clinton. Then after the election, 2 weeks later, he's like, oh, no, forget about it. That's what you say before the election. It's not what you say after. So now he's saying he's going to do one for Biden, but he had promised to do that for in 2016. So I think it's about, you got to deliver on these things. If we do the same thing and we don't deliver on 100%, we're not going to turn the country around. Now's the time to deliver results. You know, we're going to be at Reagan's library. He said it was a time for choosing. It was our rendezvous with destiny. I think this election is for our generation, because we're in danger of leaving to our kids and grandkids in America that's less free and less prosperous than the one we inherited.
And Governor, really quickly, the person who's closest to you right now in most of the polls is Nikki Haley from South Carolina, of course, former governor there, former ambassador to the UN. She's more of a Bush or Republican, I think. And people like John Danforth, Mitt Romney say the Republican Party has to go back to that Republican Party, not the populist party that you and Vivek and Trump really represent, which is about 84% of the electorate right now, if the polls are accurate. But how do you respond to the Cheney crowd?
Well, look, I think corporatism is a dead end for Republicans. I mean, part of it is because, you know, who are you for? Are you for people that are working hard every day? Are you for some of the fat cats? It's not a good place to be in politically, but also as a matter of policy. That's a perversion of free market principles. We've seen corporations go very woke. And, you know, Nikki attacked me for standing up for the kids of Florida, and she sided with Disney when we had the big fight over parents' rights in education. We took the position that you shouldn't sexualize curriculum in elementary school. Disney fought us. They tried to stop the bill. Then they tried to get the bill repealed afterwards, and we stood strong against the most powerful company in our state. I think she's indicated she would have bent the knee in that situation, and I think that's been more indicative of her approach. But that approach is a dead end. And guess what, Laura? I took all the flack from the media for so long, and here we are. Our kids are protected. Disney doesn't have any more special tax breaks, and we're just humming along, doing great. It shows you if you're willing to stand strong and hold your ground, you can win these fights. I'll be the only guy on that stage tomorrow night who's actually dug in, fought these big fights, and delivered big victories.
And Governor, are you scared that we have, of course, Gavin Newsom's going to be in the audience? He's going to be at the debate, I guess, getting ready for your debate with him, moderated by my colleague Sean Hannity. Is that making you nervous?
Oh, I think it's great. I mean, look, California is a symptom of American decline. Florida shows the pathway for American revival. Let's have that debate. I can tell you, Laura, I know that we're winning between the two states because I have so many California license plates showing up in my state. That never happened when I was a kid growing up. And now all of a sudden we see them. And, you know, we're down in Southern California now for the debate. I can tell you, as someone who did Navy duty in Coronado, some of the best weather in the world. It's a great place to be, but they've done so poorly on policy, the homelessness, the crime, the taxes, the woke ideology, the lockdowns, that people are fleeing.
All right, Governor, we look forward to tomorrow night. We look forward to your debate with Newsom as well. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.